Weeks now, the situation in the eastern DRC has been in a dangerous downward spiral with dire humanitarian consequences. This has set back seriously the efforts for peace and stability in the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the progress made in that regard over the last many years with the support of the international community. The United Nations and this Council itself, including through the peacekeeping missions, have invested heavily for the success of this endeavor. We cannot afford a failure. We must not let everything unravel before our eyes. It was right for the Council to keep a close watch over the developments as manifested by a series of meetings in recent weeks. It was also logical for this Council to pronounce itself quickly and clearly to fulfill its responsibility to help restore peace and security in the eastern DRC. Pakistan believes that the resolution we have just adopted is an important and necessary step towards that objective. We appreciate France for facilitating the discussions and welcome the consensus achieved. The resolution reaffirms Security Council's strong commitment to the sovereignty, independence, unity, and territorial integrity of the DRC and upholds the fundamental principles of the UN Charter. Most importantly, it welcomes and supports the regional efforts and processes and high-level engagements led by the African Union and other sub-regional organizations to bring peace to the DRC. We expect and call on all parties to cooperate and fully comply with the provisions of this resolution and their respective obligations in a genuine and timely manner, recognizing that there is no military solution. All parties, going forward, must prioritize dialogue and diplomacy and recommit to the peace and mediation processes in place. In conclusion, the Council must continue to accord the attention that this situation requires, and in that context, we must also review the role and to better situation on ground. I thank you.
我感谢巴基斯坦代表的发言，下面我请圭亚那代表发言。
Thank you, Mr. President. Guyana welcomes the adoption of the resolution on the situation in the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the Council's firm response to the ongoing crisis in eastern DRC. We thank France, the penholder, for their efforts in bringing us to this point. Guyana voted for the resolution with the hope that today's decision by the Security Council will provide positive momentum to the regional efforts to achieve a ceasefire, prevent any further escalations, and ultimately find a sustainable political solution to this decades-long conflict. We reiterate our demand for the M23 to cease hostilities and for Rwanda to withdraw its forces from the territory of the DRC. Likewise, we reiterate our call for the DRC to sever all ties with and neutralize the FDLR. We call upon both countries to urgently implement their commitments under the Luanda and Nairobi processes, abide by the decisions of the AU Peace and Security Council, and prioritize dialogue and the well-being of their citizens that would lead to peace and a final resolution to this conflict. Guyana further underscores the need for full respect for the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the DRC and reiterates its commitment to working with all Council members to address the ongoing crisis and mitigate the risk of a regional conflict. I thank you.
感谢圭亚那代表的发言，下面请韩国代表。
Thank you, Mr. President. The Republic of Korea is pleased and encouraged that the Security Council was able to reach unity in decisively and unequivocally responding to the grave situation in eastern DRC. We voted in favor of this resolution with a deep sense of urgency for an immediate ceasefire between all parties. My delegation commends the tireless efforts of France, the pen holder, to bring the Council together over the past 2 weeks. The entire DRC is now at stake, and the situation literally stands on the brink of a full-scale regional war. There can be no military solution to this conflict. We urge the DRC and Rwanda to urgently return to meaningful diplomatic dialogue. The resolution you adopted today, DRC. I thank you, Mr. President.
感谢韩国代表的发言，下面请索马里代表发言。